A table saw can make incredibly accurate cuts, but one small mistake can turn a routine cut into a dangerous situation. Some mistakes are obvious. Others are so common that woodworkers stop noticing them. Here are 10 table saw mistakes you should avoid every time you use one. One of the biggest mistakes is ignoring the blade guard and other safety features. These features are designed to reduce exposure to the blade and help make certain operations safer. Don't remove or bypass them simply because they feel inconvenient. Use the equipment according to the manufacturer's instructions. Another mistake is setting up the fence incorrectly. The fence needs to be properly aligned with the blade and positioned correctly for the cut you're making. If the setup is wrong, the workpiece can bind against the blade or produce an inaccurate cut. Before cutting, check your fence and make sure everything is secure. Unsafe hand positioning is another serious mistake. Your hands should never be placed in the path of the blade. For narrow cuts or situations where your hands would need to get too close, use an appropriate push stick, push block, or other recommended accessory. Keep your attention on where your hands are at all times. Another mistake is ignoring kickback. Kickback can happen when the workpiece becomes trapped, binds against the blade, or is suddenly thrown back toward the operator. Never stand directly behind the workpiece. Position yourself safely to the side and follow the manufacturer's recommended operating procedures. Large boards create another problem. If you're cutting a large or heavy piece of material without proper support, the workpiece can become difficult to control. Use appropriate outfeed or side support when needed. The goal is to keep the material stable before, during, and after the cut. Another mistake is using a dull or damaged blade. A blade that isn't in good condition can produce poor cuts and may require more force to push the material through. Inspect your blade regularly and use the correct blade for the material and operation. Another common mistake is forcing the workpiece through the blade. If the cut requires excessive force, stop and figure out why. The blade may be dull, the setup may be wrong, or the material may not be feeding correctly. A table saw should do the cutting. You shouldn't have to fight the machine. Rushing is another major mistake. It's easy to become comfortable with a familiar tool and start moving too quickly. But accuracy and safety both suffer when you're rushing. Take the time to set up the cut. Check your measurements. Secure the material. And make sure the blade and fence are properly positioned. Another mistake is making adjustments while the blade is still moving. If you need to change the fence, blade, insert, or another component, follow the manufacturer's procedure and disconnect the machine from its power source when required. Never put your hands near a moving blade to save a few seconds. And finally, don't treat every table saw operation as if it's the same. Crosscuts, rip cuts, bevel cuts, narrow cuts, and other operations can require different setups and accessories. Use the correct technique and safety equipment for the specific operation. Before you turn on the saw, check the blade, check the fence, check your material, check your support, and think about where your hands and body will be during the entire cut. A table saw is an incredibly useful tool, but it deserves respect. Don't remove safety features just to save time. Don't rush. Don't ignore kickback. And never put your hands where the blade can reach them. Good table saw technique isn't just about getting a straight cut. It's about getting that cut safely and consistently. What's the most common table saw mistake you've seen? Tell me in the comments. And subscribe for more practical woodworking tips, tool comparisons, and DIY projects. Thanks for watching.